Diane, I'm listening to a podcast, Black Lodge Trivia Night. I've never heard so many game aspirations in my life.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, are you all set? You want to give it a shot?
Yeah. Hey, do you know what's coming up?
What's that?
Twin Peaks Day.
Ooh, is that the 28th?
It's right? It's February 20. No. It's February 24th.
It's tomorrow. Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, because it couldn't be the 28th because that would be a leap year.
I thought 29th is a leap year.
I think you're right.
There's no way to know.
Yeah, you're 100% right. But it is February 24th. Well, no.
It is very nice. Well, in honor of that, then, welcome back to Black Lodge Trivia Night on Twin Peaks Day Eve. Matt, how you doing tonight?
It's I just am.
For how the sausage gets made, that's not the first time I've asked Matt this evening how he's doing tonight. But, we're recording. I am also fine.
Yeah. No, I didn't say I was fine. I just said I am.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. I should not assume anything.
I am existing. How are you, Art? You're piled in under like 8 feet of snow.
Yeah. So the day of this recording, New Jersey had one of its biggest blizzards in years. And usually when I make the faces I make, it's because I'm constipated. But tonight it's because I'm in immense pain from shoveling 400,000 pounds of snow this afternoon. So
wincing throughout the night.
Yeah. It took over 4 hours to dig out. So,
ooh.
Yeah. And it wasn't like the fun light stuff like my cocaine. It was the wet stuff like my cheap cocaine. So anyway, well, so obviously we're back tonight. We're going to do another session of Blade Runner, which I have been having a blast with. Matt, I think you've been enjoying it for the most part as well.
Yes.
Yeah. It's fine.
Oh yes, absolutely. I think if for some reason this is your first episode, I think we've had really cool just individual moments, and it's not like super high speed action whatever, but I think we've done some really cool role play stuff, and the mystery is very intriguing. So yes, absolutely, this has been a lot of fun.
Very nice. I'm glad because same here. Before we get into it though, we need a little bit of business. Are you ready for tonight's trivia?
Yes, it better be pretty top notch, being the Twin Peaks Eve and all.
All right. We'll see how it is. It's
the
Major
spirit
Garland
of David
Briggs
Lynch will visit
3 times.
Will if you shut your bedroom door, he will enter your bedroom through your doorknob and leave you creamed corn in the palm of your upturned hands as you sleep.
Oh, a girl can dream. All right. So, end of season 1, beginning of season 2. Agent Dale Cooper is shot in his room at the Great Northern.
Yes.
Around the time he's shot, Major Garland Briggs gets a message. What was that message?
I can envision it like so many other nights. Really ought to rewatch the show.
Never seen it.
I'm actually a big Tool Time fan, or not Tool Time. Yeah, that was the name of the show. Was it that? I'll just take a stab at the owls are not what they seem.
That is correct. That is the message that he received.
He doesn't get it from. It's not the log lady. That's picked up.
No. He doesn't get it from the log lady. So part 2 of the question is often forgotten. There's actually kind of a second part of that message that comes through.
Oh shit.
Do you remember what the second part of that message was? It might have came a little bit afterwards, but
is that when we get reference to the lodge for the first time? Is the second part a reference to the lodge? Or maybe the lodge had already been referenced, but is it something about the lodge?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'll guess something about the lodge.
Not in this case. I don't know if the second part of the message just said Dale Cooper, Dale Cooper, Dale Cooper.
I was going to guess Dale Cooper, but
yeah.
Okay. And was it like a decoded message or something like that?
Yes. So the third part of the question is, just as a bonus, do you know where the message came from that it was decoded
the big
from?
Satellite dishes?
Yeah, from deep space. They picked it up on satellite dishes and decoded it, and so he had to tell Dale Cooper that the owls were not what they seem.
So here's a follow-up question for you, because I honestly don't remember. I don't think it's addressed in season 1 or 2 at all. In The Return does have, I don't want to say like cosmic implies like more space, but like there's no overt space involvement in the series, is there?
Not that I recall. That message is one of the more overt, like deep space.
Deep space, yeah.
And I do feel
I think there is kind of like a planetary aspect of like the like when they're observing. You know what I'm talking about? Like during that like observatory in The Return.
Yes,
that kind of feels like that's on I don't know, another planet or something like that. It's been a long time since I've seen The Return, but yeah, that's another one of those things that you bring in space as a component of the lodge, assuming the message somehow came from the lodge, one of the lodges, but then it's not touched upon again.
Right, and I think part of Major Briggs's background, why he's in Twin Peaks, part of the research that there is something that could be alien adjacent, but it's never really part of the show.
Yeah,
like
yeah. I think that's a good choice. Like the letters under the fingertips not having to pay off is a little bit of a letdown. I don't need or want a space element to this mystery. It absolutely does not need it.
No, especially given what the Black Lodge is, what it contains, represents, etc. Like adding aliens to that, I think would actually neuter sort of what.
Yeah, it would certainly cheapen it. Yeah.
So
nice.
All right.
Nice.
So there we go. Back to Blade Runner. If you remember last session, it was actually a really cool session. It was just the overnight shift, and you conducted an interrogation of both Styles and now I'm going to forget the other guy's name, but the guy who owns the shop that makes
the Aurelian.
The Aurelian, yeah. So you ran an interrogation. You tried to get them to give up what Lilith was up to, and in the end, after they asked, especially the Aurelian asked you, like, what are you going to do with not Lilith? What are you going to do with Leah? And you were saying, like, yeah, I want to bring her in. I want to protect everybody. She killed somebody. And so they ended up refusing to help you. Mm-hmm. And you tried to run like a con by making it seem like one was cooperating in front of the other, but you caught that they had like a coordinated signal that ended up thwarting what your intentions were. And they actually chose to face whatever fate they had coming to them instead of turning over information about Leah.
Yeah, which was crazy.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
Yeah, so that was the end of the session. And then you said you wanted to start the morning shift by going back to the memory lab to check in with Lilith because...
Yeah, or I had another thought.
Okay.
I would like to actually travel to Chicago. I thought that I haven't rested in a while. And I thought about getting my rest out of the way because I have a little plan.
Okay. So you want to maybe do the morning shift as a rest?
Yeah, maybe before, none of the bigwigs at Lilith Memory Corps are strolling in at 7 a.m., right? So if I take early morning, then I'll, rest up, and then I'll get there late morning before the lunch breaks. It's kind of the way I saw it.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm just trying to figure out what day are we on? I had that written down somewhere, so let me figure that out really quickly. Case file report. We're on day 3.
Okay.
Okay, so and so sorry. So I wasn't sure. So Chicago, my main takeaway was you're trying to get a rest shift in.
Yeah, Chicago was a joke. I was just throwing it off. I'm just gonna rest up. I want to go back to my apartment.
Okay, all right. So you go to your apartment,
but with me, I'm taking before I leave the station, I'm putting everything on the Blade Runner equivalent of a flash drive, I guess, onto my Palm Pilot, onto my Kia unit.
Okay.
So all the case file, all my case file notes. Let's say after the interrogation, I spent some time putting my notes, including that sounds. Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. So let's see. So you're going to go back to your apartment.
Yeah, and I'll even tell Finna, like, hey, I got to get some shut-eye. Pushing through, over 24 hours at this point. I think if we just both take a few hours, I get some rest, you do your thing, I'll pick you up at, I don't know, how about I swing by your place at 11?
All right. It's like, that sounds good. Okay. And so what we're going to do is let me see if I can show this to you. Nope. If you can go to the roll tables, and if you can go to case file 01, there should be downtime home events, downtime street events.
Yep.
I'm hoping. If you can give me a home event roll.
The character relieves their key memory in a dream. Parts of the memory are strained or distorted. This downtime shift heals no stress. Instead, the stream is a stress factor 2 event. If the character's insight roll to resist the stress succeeds, they also gain a clue to the current case from the dream.
All right.
So stress factor 2 event, so I assume I roll that. Got 2 3s.
I think that's good. Stress factor, let me just double check. Let's see. Stress is on page 60 what?
9.
60. Haha. Are you making that up or is that true?
Not making that up.
That's what I thought. Okay. Suffering stress. Stress factors. Okay. So I think with that, I don't know why it's having you. Let me just see what happens if you roll again. I'm just curious. Okay, you then make a roll for insight, not action. Each eye roll eliminates 1 point of potential stress. Okay, so it's potentially 2 points of stress. You didn't roll any eyes, so that would have reduced the stress. So you're going to take 2 stress from it.
Oh, okay.
So I think that's how it works. So now, do you have... during character creation, did we create a key memory? There was, right? It was something about like a bodega getting robbed or something? Or a dad was doing something for his kids. Dad does
things for kids. No one was a bitch and no one snitched.
Okay. So somehow from that, I don't, is there enough there for you to make up like a detail that, or is it just like, let's just say it happened and move on?
Yeah, let's just say it happened. I don't really remember. I guess I meant like he did stuff to make sure us kids got by. I don't.
Okay.
Maybe I should have written down some details. I don't know.
No, that's perfect.
All right. But so I have I try to get some shut eye, right? And so, I'm playing in this is early morning. I get home and it's like 7 a.m. It's like, all right, I get 3.5 hours of sleep, get a quick shower. I'll be good. I'll be by Finna's by 11 and we can get on with this. And I lay down and it's just like restless. And I'm just tossing and turning. And then I check the clock and I have plenty of time, but I didn't get near enough sleep. And so what I would like to do is I would like to put in a little safety valve measure here. I want to schedule an email or some kind of secure communication as I can to and maybe I have a communication at, being a street guy, some news agencies, maybe some people that wouldn't be worried about, that aren't beholden to some corporate overlords. And basically I'm doing the thing okay, if something happens to me, this is getting sent to these people, all of my case notes and my their silence, I'm dead because the Nexus 9s are not safe. And you get it.
Got it. Now, is one of those Kill magazine? The magazine of the racist replicant anti-replicant.
Oh shit!
Because you hate they're odious, but at the same time, like, this is their wheelhouse.
Ah, fuck. I think it is, but like, there's something that like counterbalances that, right? Like some kind of journalist I know that writes for, something that like push for replicant, right? Like in balance. And yes, yeah, I think you're right. They're on that list.
I like that. I think that's interesting. I don't know if I like it, but I think it's interesting.
Yeah, no, I think he would. He's not comfortable with it, and he's certainly hoping, like, you realize this is like extreme. Like, gosh, what am I talking about? But they've already tried to kill him once, and so, he's pissed about that.
Yeah,
and he's like, fuck, if I go down, Finna gets wiped, and Captain's obviously not going to do shit about this. So, time to take it into our own hands.
Yeah, and if you allow me to like rewrite history a little bit, I like the idea that maybe this is where the stress comes from. You know, like, you're restless, you don't really get rest from it. And maybe and then maybe even part of the stress is acknowledging, like, fuck, I got to send it to kill.
Yes. And like, fuck that, like, I have to send this to kill, fuck those guys, and they're not going to stop coming after me just because I took out one hit squad that tried to run me off the road.
Right.
Like, this doesn't have, I don't know, I think he's coming a little bit of terms with this may not have a clean ending. Unless he can find Leo.
Right. Okay.
And even then, it probably does. Anyways, so, yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah, so, okay, so say it's around 11 o'clock, and Fenna comes by as instructed, and so she knock on the door.
Yeah, come on in.
Yeah. So she comes in. She's, boss, you feeling a little. She's like, oh shit, no, you don't look rested.
No, but I think I'm good. I know I look like shit, but I was able to clear my head. We're all good.
All right.
I am gonna grab a cup of coffee downstairs, though.
Yeah, sure thing.
What'd you do?
She's like, well, I got to show you something. And so she pulls out her Kia, and on it is a message. And on the message, it says, back off, stop looking for Leah, she's long gone. Signed, the Replicant Underground.
That doesn't sound real.
And so, she handed you her Kia, and that's the message you see on the display.
I'm like, do you mind? Check that real quick.
You can do something
like,
weird, like swipe the photos. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. She's like, go ahead.
All right. I'll just send back. Let's talk, or let's meet, and let's talk.
Okay.
Who signs off Replicant Underground? I'll say that to Finna. What are these tools?
Yeah, and she's like, well, it is a small thing. I've heard like whispers of it. I didn't really think it existed, but it might make what Styles and the Aurelian did last night a little more understandable. But yeah, I mean, there's fanatics on all sides, right? People want to help, people want to turn the public against them, like Kill Magazine. Yeah.
I get it, Finna, but here's the deal. And you're gonna maybe hate me for saying this, but Leah needs to come in, and he just kind of like looks at her like, and extends a hand like, something's wrong with the nines.
Right. No. And as a 9 myself, like, I want this cleared up just as badly, because I think I'm doing all right. But if something's wrong with me, I want it fixed. And if there's not something wrong with me.
Do you want this cleared up, Finna? Even if it means. Really?
Yeah. Because, my mission is to, serve and protect in a sense. So, if something's wrong with me, I don't want to end up doing what Leah did. And if there's nothing wrong with me, I want everybody to know that I'm fine and I can be trusted. So yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you now, we're not going to back down.
No, sir.
All right, let me know if they send anything back.
Will do. All right.
Let's get over to Tyrell.
All right. Yeah, and so you head downstairs and tell me about your go-to coffee place at the bottom of the stairs. Is it good coffee?
It is good coffee, but only yes, it is good coffee. But the pastries are somehow always day-old pastries. They never have fresh pastries. It's a little 3-booth, tiny little, I don't want to say cafe because that makes it sound fancier than it is.
Right.
It's all old dilapidated chrome paneling and more or less a lean-to with a few booths, but they make a well-caffeinated cup of coffee.
Nice. Very nice. All right. So you grab a cup and you're going to let Fenna drive, or are you going to...
I'll drive.
Okay. And you're going to head to the memory lab with Lilith Tyrell?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So you head to the memory lab, and let me bring that up. And yeah, so basically you're going to walk in the front door. Well, you're not going to walk in the front door. The front door is locked, but, let me see. Where's the handouts here? I'm just trying to... What's that? Scene directory? No, I want the other thing. Oh, down here. So yeah, you So you get to the memory lab, and you are greeted by... I don't know if you remember. I think it came up the first time you went here, but...
I haven't been here before.
Oh, you haven't? Did you...
We went by...
oh, you went to...
Not Lilith, right? We went to...
The Wallace Corp. That's what I'm...
Wallace Corp, yep.
Okay. So, yeah, so you...
The same guy works both jobs, reception at both jobs.
Exactly.
Don't I know you?
Yeah, no, so you come up to the front door and, I assume you make your request to come in.
Yeah.
And you are greeted by... What did I just show you?
The bedside photo.
Okay, that is not what I meant to show you. Let me, why is this...
Well, you get the right handout. I'll just say one of my favorite all-time running gag bits is in Hot Fuzz, where there's the night shift and the day shift played by the same guy. Yeah. Anyways, that's all. Yeah. Now I see a guy with glasses.
Okay, so if you're familiar with the original Blade Runner film, this was the head of the Tyrell Corporation.
Oh.
And you can see that, obviously, this is not him because he's dead, but a replicant made to look exactly like him.
Oh, that's not creepy.
And he's sort of the, the front desk, so to speak, of the memory lab.
That's not weird at all.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, officer, how may I help you?"
I need to, I guess I should have, looked up, who we should even be talking to. Is Lilith in?
I'm going to show you the memory lab.
I should have gotten someone's name before coming over here. Who do you think I'd be asking to talk to?
Well, you are familiar with Lilith Tyrell, who runs the memory lab. She was...
Fuck it. Let's ask for her.
Yeah. And so, yeah, you asked for her, and he's like, one moment. Let me see if she's available.
Hold on one second. And I will I'll show my badge and let Miss Tyrell know that this is about the ongoing Nexus 9 case. I'm sure she's already familiar.
Got it. And oh, you know why? Yes, because she Lilith Tyrell was in the newspaper the day the case started, and then there was the magazine article about how she creates traumatic memories to help control Nexus 9. So hopefully I just sent you a picture. One thing that came up when you were looking at her in the newspaper is like, does she look like Leah? And the answer is you can sort of see the resemblance. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So yeah, you sort of are standing, say, like by the, in reception, if you're looking at the memory lab map. And, Terry sort of walks back, and a few moments later, he was like, yes, she will see you.
Thanks, Terry.
And, yeah. Okay. And so, he walks you back, and, let's see. Takes you to sort of like, if you look at the map, there's like the central memory lab is like this big dome. And, yeah, so he takes you in there and says, if you just wait here a moment, she'll be right in.
Thanks, Terry.
And this is where potentially Fenna was created. How is she responding to this?
Fenna, you doing all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing all right. And then all of a sudden, like sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, look, if you want to get out of here, I can handle this.
No. I can do this. And as you're talking, all of a sudden, like in the center of the room, there's a flicker, and you see two children sort of come into existence, a boy and a girl. And they're sort of giggling and they're laughing, and they have paper in front of them and like some crayons, and they're drawing on the paper.
I'll turn to Fenna, like, mean anything to you?
And she watches them for a little bit, and then she just shakes her head. No, I don't recognize these kids at all.
Okay, I'm going to take a closer look. Do they look like the girl from the bedroom photo?
No.
Do they look like anyone we've interacted with?
No. Not at the moment. Not yet, no.
Okay.
And so you're hearing like the giggles and the laughter, and then all of a sudden you hear from another point in the room a little bit of a giggle as well. It's like behind you.
Okay. I'll turn and take a look at it.
All right. And you turn and you see a little girl. And she's
the same one from the photo?
And she's the same one from the photo. And obviously she's real. She is there. She's not flickering. She's not. And then as you turn to see her, like the hologram, flickers and shuts off.
Wait, say the last part again. Sorry.
As you turn and look at the real girl from the photo, the hologram behind you now turns off. The giggles stop.
Hello there.
Give me a manipulation roll.
Okay. Manipulation. Rolling.
Nice. Okay. One success, which for the people who don't know the system, that does the trick. So she at first seems a little shy.
That's all right. What's your name?
Yeah, but she sort of warms up to you a little bit, and she's like, my name's Sarah.
Oh, Sarah. Hi. You know what? My name starts with an S2. My name's Salmon. I'm a police officer.
And she giggles like, your name's a fish.
It is, isn't it? Isn't that silly?
She likes that. She giggles. And then she turns and is like, is your name Trout? To Fenna.
This is my friend Fenna. Now, what are you doing running around a room like this?
She's like, well, my mommy works here.
Oh, very cool. And what's your mommy's name?
My mommy's name is Lilith.
Oh, that's a very beautiful name. Say, Sarah, have you ever traveled? No, I'll change it. I'll be like, Sarah, do you want to know something about me? I love space. I know I'm a fish, but I would love to be an astronaut going across the stars. Have you ever been to outer space?
She looks at you and she giggles again. She's like, no, that's silly. No.
I'm going to pull out the picture. Like, it's funny because I have this from a friend of mine, and I think it looks just like you.
And so she's a little far away to see it. And so do you want to try and get her to come over?
I'll just kind of crouch down and extend it.
Okay.
A good distance from me. As far as I can stretch, basically. I'm trying to give her space.
Okay. And as you are doing that, all of a sudden behind you, behind Sarah, Lilith walks in and sort of sees the photo and sees you bending down and talking to Sarah. And she's like, Sarah, why don't you go in the other room? Why don't you go back to Mommy's office and play?
Sarah, it was very nice to meet you, and I'll make a little fish face at her.
And she giggles and she gives a little wave, and she sort of happily kind of runs out of the room. And Lilith turns to you and kind of has a scowl on her face.
Miss Tyrell, good morning. Thank you for making time for us. I'm sure you're very busy.
Indeed, yes. What is this about?
I'm sure you've heard of the recent incident involving the Nexus 9 and the missing Nexus 9 unit?
Yes, yes.
And I'm sure you've read the recent article about your particularly revolutionary techniques involving core memories.
Yes, I mean, we did develop a technique. It's been effective, yes?
Yeah, and effective and close to home. And I'll walk over to her and I'll hold up the picture. Using traumatic memories as core memories for Nexus 9 and using your own daughter as the seed for those memories?
Well, yes, I confess I did take that shortcut.
Wow. You know the problem with that, right?
I'm sure you'll enlighten me.
I'll pull out a picture of Leah. I said, sure, but real quick, do you recognize her?
And you're showing a picture of Leah herself, right?
I'm showing a picture of Leah herself. I mean,
okay.
The resemblance is striking it. Clearly, you Tyrells like to keep the family. Something like to keep their family on display.
And with that, she smiles like, oh, you mean Terry in the front office?
Terry, Leah. Can't deny the resemblance. Anyways, does she look familiar to you?
She's like, yes, of course. I did design her memory. Yes.
You designed her memory?
Yes.
Well, I have some bad news for you, Lilith. Do you know what the sole motivating factor for this Nexus 9 is right now? You see, who did the memory resets, or who did the testing? Would that have been Wallace Corporation? Because they just do the memories, right? Wallace would have done the quality control stuff, right?
Right.
So I don't know if you know this. Did Wallace let you know that this Nexus 9 unit failed her baseline test twice and was cleared for active duty?
Well, I mean, I can't speak to the being cleared for active duty, but I can tell you that failing a baseline test is pretty typical. I mean, it happens more often than not.
Failing the baseline test twice? Back to back?
And while she's actually now looking at Fenna, because she is sort of eyeing Fenna up and getting like a sense about her. And she's like, well, I mean, I can't speak to how often it's acceptable to fail a baseline test, but they do fail and then they're reset, and usually everything works itself out.
So you use these traumatic memories to serve as the core memory for these Nexus 9s, and you have great success. And can you imagine what would go wrong if something were to happen to these Nexus 9s after failing 2 base tests in a row? If something were to happen to them? Have you thought about that?
Look.
Well, Miss Tyrell, let me tell you what could happen. This particular Nexus 9, for say, fails 2 base tests. Mm-hmm. Something goes wrong with the hardwiring, the programming. I don't know. It's above my pay grade, but you install in her a traumatic memory, say losing her daughter. And the only thing that motivates her is now finding that daughter, but every other source of programming is now being overridden. It's out of the control of the machines. The only thing she's motivated by is getting her daughter. So much so that despite all of the programming, she kills another Nexus 9 and puts human lives at risk. All against programming and safety protocols. And do you know what's motivating her? Her sole motivating factor right now. It's not to live. It's not to flee off-world. And I'll turn to like where Sarah went. It's come and find that little girl.
And interesting. Give me a manipulation roll with advantage. That shakes her a little bit.
Manipulation with advantage.
2 successes. Eyeballs. Very nice. Very nice. So she looks at you and she's like, look, here's what I can... You might not agree with our methods and...
Oh, they're very successful, Miss Tyrell.
Right. She's like, I'll just say this. Replicants are machines and they're no different than the blasters that you carry. I mean, they're infinitely more advanced, of course, but they're machines nonetheless. And the purpose of the memories that I design is to control these machines in the most effective way possible. They're very complicated machines. They're the most complicated machines ever made. And so the methods by which we have to control them can be murky and might be complicated. And my thought was, why not try imprinting them with a deep trauma?
Miss Tyrell, do you see the error in what you just said? When you try and control them, what happens when you no longer control them? And that traumatic memory is their sole motivation and core. Did you ever ask yourself that?
And she stops and thinks for a minute, and she's like, well, I'm not sure this disproves my approach. It might just disprove how it was implemented in this case. The idea is the memory of this trauma is conditioned to be triggered at a time that the replicant considers disobeying, and so maybe something went wrong in that sense. But I tell you that morality has no role here. I'm not trying to make this a good or bad. Just as much as, you wouldn't want your blaster to disobey you. My goal is to prevent Nexus 9s from disobeying and creating harm. And so...
But Lilith, Miss Tyrell, you have failed in that goal. And as academic as answers you want to give me, the real life consequences are dead Nexus 9 units, humans at risk, humans being attacked, driven off the road, and the worst part is a very advanced machine coming for your little Sarah. So, yeah, I get it. you wanted to implement this thing, but you didn't stop for a second and just think about the worst case scenario. And because of your shortcut and your efforts, now the person at the greatest risk are you and your daughter. So please, right now, my goal is to bring in this Nexus 9 safely without anyone else getting hurt. And so I don't need an academic answer about morality and why you did what you did. I just wanted to let you know what is now at stake here. It's not the Nexus 9s at stake. We're past that. Obviously, the Nexus 9s are not fit for continuous duty service in any role until we get this cleaned up. What's at stake now is your life and your daughter's life.
And so she looks at you for a moment. She's like, let me just make sure I understand what this Nexus 9 Leah did. And again, she keeps looking at Fenna while she's talking. And she's like, what exactly did this Nexus 9 unit do?
This Nexus 9 unit has, for the past several months, been obsessed with finding her daughter. A daughter that all of us thought did not exist, but now we know does exist. And if that Nexus 9 unit gets whiff of that daughter existing... Gosh, above table, was there a photo of her and her family in the article? Is there a picture of Sarah in the article about Lilith?
No.
Thank God they didn't print an updated photo of you and your family. So what this Nexus 9 did is become obsessed with this one singular... She's visiting locations. She's trying to get all the answers, driven by this daughter of hers, and it has led her into an unstable state where she is firing and killing other Nexus 9s.
Ah, okay. So she killed a fellow Nexus 9. Did she harm any person?
Not yet, Miss Tyrell, and I see what you're doing. I don't care if you think they're safe. That Nexus 9 that she killed did nothing wrong. It was not a Nexus 9 she was hunting or programmed to hunt down. It was her partner. Something that the programs and controls should have prevented. So if the programs and controls couldn't have prevented that, what makes you think they can't prevent her from coming after you and your daughter? Do not try and talk circles around me and get in philosophical debates. You must understand that this Nexus 9 unit is compromised, and I need as much information to bring this Nexus 9 unit in as possible.
Okay.
So what can you tell me about this Nexus 9 unit? I understand your programming. I get it. I need to know about this Nexus 9 unit, and I need to know how to find it.
Okay.
And don't tell me that you can't assist me, because as with everyone else, I know whose name used to be across that skyscraper. And it wasn't always Wallace Corporation.
Nice. Okay. So here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I want you to give me another manipulation roll with advantage.
Okay.
And let me see if I can do this.
2 successes.
2 successes. Very nice. Actor directory. Main characters, Lilith Tyrell, and she's going to get an insight roll, and luckily she's terrible at that. No successes. Okay, so she's like, fine, look, I stand by my decision and my approach from what I understand from the facts of the matter. Leah has so far not harmed a single human being, which is the point of my process. But I'll show you her memory. I'll bring it up. And
you think this will help us find her?
And she's like, I honestly don't know. But if you're so concerned about what I've done to her to make her do all the things, I'll show you what I did to her, and then you can decide what you want to do from there. But I don't know anything about where she is or what she's trying to do.
Okay. I'm going to keep a close eye on her while she's pulling this up. I'm going to activate like a recording feature on my Kia if it's got one.
Okay. So let's see. Trying to figure out where this is. Let me see if it's still here. Sorry, it's just going to take me one quick second.
Sure.
Okay. So you're still in the dome, and in the center where the two children sort of flickered to life and then disappeared, you see the hologram, in the center of the memory lab flickers back to life, and you see like a spacious hall. There's golden sunbeams coming through a huge picture window, and outside that window is revealed a red sandy vista. Someone's moving past you. It's a small girl, and you hear, "Mummy, you can't catch me." And she runs off giggling, disappearing into a deep shadow. A moment of stillness, of total bliss washes over you, and then suddenly a loud bang, shaking the ground, the window shatters, and then there's sharp rattling noises throughout the walls as smoke comes through the window. There's an explosion, there's gunfire, outside you hear people screaming, and the gunfire keeps continuing. Some of the gunfire starts coming in the direction that the little girl went off to, so you run right toward her. And as you run toward her, you start to see, victims on the ground, debris. You're running right toward the deadly danger, and you're trying to find your daughter. So rushing through these rushing through the halls, they're bathed in this red light. And then you see them, there's these masked men. They're all clad in black, guns raised, and they're shooting. And then you take your eyes off of them and you notice on the floor, lying very still, is your daughter. You scream, and then it just disappears. And the hologram flickers off. And she's like, "That's what I did."
Did you design that memory?
I did, and the idea behind it was that you would activate it at a moment of instability, and it would sort of shock her emotional core from disobeying.
That's sick, Miss Tyrell.
Like I said, morality was not a part of this. It was just to be effective.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. God help your soul when if something happens to Sarah. You ever thought what it might be like to live that memory for real? If you can't help us find this unit, we're done here. But I wanted to let you know what's at stake now.
And she thanks you, and she says, I believe in my process, and so far the facts bear out that she hasn't hurt anyone. And given the nature of the memory, I don't think she would ever hurt my daughter.
You think she'd take her?
I don't know.
You might have had great success, Miss Tyrell. There's no doubting that. But at what price?
Well, so far the price has been the success of the Nexus 9 line as a whole. And with that, she's looking right at Fenna.
Yeah. I don't think you can make that claim anymore. We have an unstable Nexus 9 unit that's ignoring all safety protocols, is trying to get off planet.
Interesting. Obviously, that memory takes place off planet.
It's true. That's true. If you think of anything that can help us track her down, if you have any resources at your disposal, for the sake of you and your daughter, please. And he extends a card to her.
And she takes the card and she sort of flips it around a little bit in her fingers, and then, "Thank you, I will, of course.
I'm sure you will."
Yeah, I'm here to cooperate. I don't have any reason not to.
I don't have anything else for her.
Okay. Now, again, is there anything you want, even if she doesn't contribute to the conversation, is there anything you want from Fenna reacting to this? So so obviously she has a memory that at the Wallace Corporation was brought up. Did you ever find the guy from the balcony and she got shook by that? And again, she's in a lab where she knows like who she is was just fabricated out of thin air. Now she sees how and why.
Yeah.
She might not have known why she had her core memory before.
Can these core memories be activated externally?
Definitely.
I'm asking.
Oh, you're
Lilith,
asking
like
yes,
before we walk out.
Of course, yes. That's the whole failsafe of it.
Can they be deactivated?
Of course, yes, definitely.
The core memories, they can be overridden.
Yes, we could remote wipe, or if needed, yes.
And if those memories were replaced, what controls and safeguards would be in place?
It would only be what you would consider the effectiveness of that core memory. Given the instability, I think you'd want a very strong protocol. I would argue mine is the strongest, but I know you would argue that...
But you just said that protocol could be wiped. If that protocol is wiped, what safeguards are in place?
I see. They would be wiped at like the Wallace Corporation or at a memory lab. They would not be wiped.
They cannot be wiped. They cannot be wiped remotely.
Not in that sense. I could wipe her memory remotely. Yes. The Wallace Corporation, the designer of the Nexus 9 could do it. Yes. But it's not like something that someone could just do.
Black market?
I don't see how. No, they're too complicated. You would need access to very specific things only known to the design.
If you think of anything else.
Of course.
How's Fenna doing?
She is shook, unless there's something specific you want, but I would have her be pretty shook.
I don't know. I think I'm keeping an eye on her throughout the questioning.
Yeah.
For a second there, I thought it'd be like powerful after the clip of finding the daughter. She like shed a single tear.
Just a single one rolling.
Yeah, but she's a Revenant, or a Nexus. What's Revenant? Is that right?
That's the Leonardo DiCaprio movie of 2016. The Revenant.
I feel like. Yeah. Well, she's a Nexus.
She's a replicant. Yeah.
Replicant. Jeez.
Yeah. So she's quiet in the car, and she turns to you and she said, "Look, obviously I've never had any doubts about what I am, but there are days when I'm able to forget, and today is not one of those days."
Fenna, I'm sorry.
No, that's just... we're born who we are.
And he thinks to himself, well, born, but obviously he doesn't say that out loud.
Well, not right, like technically...
Exactly.
Yeah. So she just sort of gets quiet and she's sort of looking out the window a little bit.
Okay.
We'll have that be... was there anything else you wanted to do here at the lab, or was that sort of...
No, I don't think so.
So I think what we'll do is we'll call that the first shift. You know, part of it was at your apartment, and then the rest was here.
Okay.
So what would you like to do with the next shift of the day?
Shit. Well, yeah, 0 leads on Leah. I think I still have the like ammo shop, but I think that's kind of a waste of time. Like, we know who did the shooting, so we know who probably bought the ammo. The only lead, unless I'm forgetting something right now, I believe that we have is Wallace Corporation, which isn't so much a lead to Leah as much as it's a lead to those fuckers trying to kill me.
There is that, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Am I forgetting any kind of like hanging threads right now?
I'm trying to think. You found you went to the pawn shop. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you haven't gone to the gun shop, but yeah, otherwise you talked to the cab company, you went to the snake pit. Yeah, no, there's not too many other leads that are outstanding besides, the Wallace Corp, because they tried to kill you, and Bullet Bob's Runner Surplus, which is where she bought some ammo.
think I would go to Walls Corporation again. I guess if things really dry up, we can go to Bullet Bob's. Let's go to Walls Corporation.
Okay. Yeah, so you go to... Yeah, so you know, again, remember it's a tall building. You sort of land on near the top floors.
Mm-hmm.
And you... Yeah, so, and again, like that, you know, if you remember, like, you know, there was like a sort of like a emissary who meets you.
I just walk right past them. I hold up my badge and I walk right past them.
All right. And as you walk right past him, you know, if you remember, here's Quell. I'll show you. So as you walk right... her. Yeah. So as you walk past the emissaries, I assume towards like her office. All of a sudden, like 4 armed guards step out, weapons drawn, pointed right at you.
All right, I hold up my badge. Let's go ahead and put those away, boys. Police business.
And from behind the door, behind you know, some of the armed guards, Quell comes out, and she's like, "No, those weapons are not being lowered at all."
Oh, shit. Quell is who I talked to before, not them. She's not the emissary. Oh, Quell.
Right, right. No, yeah, she's like the boss. And so she steps out.
Now, don't you think this is just a little too public? I mean, don't you think, like, driving me off the road would be a little more, I don't know, a little less loud? Come on now. Let's put those weapons away, or I'll be booking all of you.
And as you're mentioning, like, driving off the road and stuff, she sort of cracks a little smile. And...
Oh, and then I'll, while she pulls a smile, I very slowly... Now, boys, I'm going to grab something from my pocket here, and I'll reach in and I'll grab the evidence bag with the Wallace Corporation ID. How long do you think until the boys over in Forensics Accounting can figure out who gave the order for that?
And she's still smiling, and she's like, "Gentlemen, if you could escort them to sub-level D."
No, I don't think you'll be escorting us anywhere. Let's go ahead and put those weapons down. And I'll move my my jacket. I'll unzip my jacket
And so as you're doing that, one of them goes to hit you in the back of the head with the butt of the gun.
Can I respond?
Yeah, so let's bring out let's bring some stuff out and see what happens. NPCs. We're gonna call these guys, we'll just use the same ones as before. There's 4 of them. And I will say, like, as you're doing this, like, bring out Quell. There we go. Let's toggle a combat state. Okay, I'm going to roll for initiative.
Yee.
Okay, so one of them is going to try and hit you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a D4. If it's a 1, it's the last guy. And so basically, if it's a 1, the last guy on the list is the one trying to hit you. If it's a 2, 3, 4, it's one of the people at the top of the order.
Okay. Fair.
Let's see. That didn't work, so let me do that. 3. Okay. So you take a hit to the back of the head. The next guy sort of moves in. So he comes in, he hits you in the back of the head. The next guy steps forward and has the gun, like, not so close that you could make a move for it, but, like, very much like, I'm going to blow your head off if you twitch again. And the other two sort of do the same. They sort of step forward because, they make this circle a little tighter and get more between you and Quell when you made that move for your coat.
Fuck, Quell. A little heavy-handed, don't you think?
And she's like, well, feels less heavy-handed than your example of trying to run you off the road. And she's still smiling at that.
Quell, I'll just go ahead and tell you right now. I've put some safeguards in place. You can believe me, you cannot. They're there. No matter what happens here today, you're fucked. Where you're probably fucked up is probably trusting little Tyrell. I think she's a little envious with her tiny little memory lab and your big building up here. I think there's some problems with your Nexus 9s, Quell.
And she's like, well, I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. I feel like the success of the line speaks for itself. But I appreciate your position.
So, am I free to go, or...
Why don't you tell me about these safeguards?
No. Come on, Quell.
Give me a manipulation roll.
Manipulation roll. Oh, no.
Do you want to push that?
Sure, fuck it.
Nice. Okay.
Yep. 1.
Nice. Now, did that take the hit on your... Yes, because I guess...
yeah, I'm down to 1.
You're down to 1. Why don't you make... Oh, no, right, because you didn't get any rest during your downtime. No, okay, so yeah, you're down to 1. Interesting. So she looks at you, and she's like, okay. You say there's safeguards in place, and what it is you can tell, like, she wasn't sure, like, if you were pulling her leg or not, and she's getting the idea that maybe you're not. And she likes having, you can tell by how she acts, she likes control. And that's a variable that she's not 100% sure of. And so she kind of, like, you see her sort of shaking her head a little bit. And she's like, sure. But I would be very careful how you tread. Salmon.
I mean, what do I have at stake, Quell? Kind of like gesture around the skyscraper. Wallace won't be the first corporation to have their name taken from this building. You realize that, right?
She sort of shakes her head some more. Yeah.
I mean, you and Wallace have everything to lose. And all I'm trying to fucking do is make sure no one else gets hurt. And yet here you are, kicking my fucking skull in, ramming me off the road, and you still don't know what's going on.
I can't say anything about you being run off the road, personally.
Oh, well, you are so out of your league. You are not good at this.
Allegedly. Yeah. And she's like, and she turns to Fenna. She's like, Fenna, keep an eye on this one. He could take you down a road that might go very poorly for you. And then she starts to turn and walks back into her office. And as she goes back into her office, the 4 guys sort of take a step back. Guns aren't lowered, but they're not like dead center on your forehead kind of things. You know, like so they're down a little bit. And they've created a little more distance between you, but it's not like they're also leaving.
That's it? You guys are just gonna rough me up and let me go?
And they don't say anything. You can tell they're all like, replicants. And and they don't say anything, and they just sort of, again, the path where from whence you came is clear, but they're just ready to go if you are ready to go.
I step forward towards Quell, and I'll yell at him, Quell! Did they respond when I take a step forward?
No, because she left the room.
Oh, she left. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I moved to the door that she went into. Do they do anything?
Yeah, they start to block you. Guns come back up. And they're like, you're not getting in there, sir.
You can't harm me.
And with that, they're like, we already have.
You cannot kill me.
Sir, I don't want you to test that theory.
What's your core memory?
No response. Guns are still up. And they're like, we really need you to leave.
Did you lose your daughter?
It's just confusion across his face.
No, okay. All right, that was a shot in the dark. Fine, I get it. All right.
Allegedly.
All right. Yeah. Did you lose your wife on an alien planet? Cousin? Dog?
Just say Marco Polo. Yeah, so they're like, sir, you really need to leave right now.
Or what?
They don't respond. They're like, you're creating a security situation here, and we
Oh,
want
Wallace
that resolved.
already has a security issue. Don't you morons fucking see this?
And then one of them lowers his gun a little bit and starts to pull out restraints.
You can't arrest me. I'm a police officer.
And he's going to try and restrain you.
All right. I'm leaving. But make sure you give Quell my number and tell her we're not done. And just let her know when the reckoning comes, I want to be there to say I told you so. All right? Thanks, fellas. And it was nice to know you, but I hope you do understand that when this is all said and done, you will be the latest line of smart toasters. Except for you. You will probably be a PPD, which is a personal pleasure device. That was the one with the restraints. Probably with some kind of bondage kink theme.
And so he takes a step back and he puts the restraints sort of back in his clip and gets his gun sort of out again. And now this one's just keeping it pointed at the floor.
So I'm going to get in the spinner and I'm going to like buzz him. Like I'm going to fly so close to him on the way out.
All right.
And I'll turn to Finn. I was like, sorry about those comments. You know that's not how I feel, but fuck those guys. How bad does my eye look?
She's looking at it and she's like, it's pretty bad. You know, it's starting to swell a little bit. And she's looking at you though. And, she's like, I'm nervous. So basically what Quell said at the end, like, he might get you into like a bad situation, is sort of sticking with her. And she just looks at you. She's like, so how far were you going to take that?
As far as it takes, Finna.
I mean, with 4 people with weapons trained on me as well as you, how far were you willing to take that moment?
As far as it took.
And she sort of looks at you and you, it's not a way she's looked at you before. Like there's something like she's reconsidering you that's evident in her eyes.
Finna, don't let him get to you. You would have been fine. You continue on. Your soul continues on. You know what happens to me? Look, if you don't want to see this through, that's fine. I'm going to see this through. It's not for Leah. It's not for. Fuck that. We can't remember the dead guy's name.
It also began with an S. The situation.
Yeah, exactly. But I legitimately believe that Sarah is at risk here, and I think other people are at risk here. So yeah, if it means doing the right thing, then I'm willing to take this as far as I can go. Look, I'm already fucked. Do you think Wallace Corporation is going to let me stay on the police force? But even if I stop now, you would continue on. Don't let them get to you. And if it's ever too much for you, I understand.
Above the table was Sandor. That was the
Sandor.
Yeah. And so yeah, Fana just looks at you. She's like, "It's good to know. I appreciate that."
How far were you willing to take it? Would you have had my back?
Always, except I would hope you wouldn't put me in a position where we're facing 4 loaded guns and then you do something rash. My fear is that you, in that moment, I didn't know if you were only thinking of Leah or if you were remembering me.
Finna, we're so in the thick of it that I think being rash is the only thing that's going to get us results. If we play this one carefully, we're not going to get anywhere.
She's like, yeah, it is seeming that way. It seems like there's a lot of people that don't want us to get anywhere at this point.
So what am I missing, Finna?
It's like, well, I don't know. Obviously, Leah's not in a good place. And she, if we could get her back to the Wallace Corporation or the memory lab to have her, reevaluated, I don't know. Maybe she's beyond hope at this point. I truly don't know. But yeah, I'm not sure.
I guess we can always go to Bullet Bob's, see if it turns anything up.
Okay. Yeah, let's check in there. And are you driving or is she driving?
I'm driving.
Okay.
Because I buzzed them.
Oh, right. So, yeah, and as you're driving, it's sort of like an eerily quiet ride over. And usually, Fenna's like messing with her key or she's punching info on the vehicle's key to check something with the case. But here, she's just sort of deliberately looking out the window in the other direction from you. And, yeah, it's just a quiet ride over to Bullet Bob's.
So awkward.
Yeah. And that's where we'll fade to black.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I know we've talked about before, it's like a very, very fleshed out intro adventure.
Mm-hmm.
But, what makes things interesting about a role-playing game is when, you start doing what you want to do. And then I keep looking at the material, like, is there something here that I can adapt, or is it just, we just spitballing here at this point. And I like it when it goes off script a little bit. Yeah. So
that's good. Yeah.
I really enjoyed this session because of that.
No, I don't mind going off script at all.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Well, hopefully, I don't know. I'm still having a blast. So I think we could be getting within like spitting distance of the end of this.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll sort of go through.
So let me ask you this, because obviously I found Leah's location maybe earlier than I should have.
Mm-hmm.
And without I don't want to know any spoilers obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, I guess what I want to know, is there more clues that I need to find, or is there something that like triggers the next phase regardless of what I do? Or are we kind of adapting because I found Finna or I found Leah earlier?
So the answer is a very unsatisfying all three. I think you found Leah a little earlier than maybe the adventure imagined, but you also did things to, like, you took Styles out of the equation. He's in lockup.
Right.
He could have done more in terms of the story.
Got it.
So there was things that couldn't happen because you smartly and in a logical way sort of short-circuited them.
Right.
There is in the game countdown events, which, depending on the number of player characters, in this case there's only one, there is a prescripted timeline.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, like, this isn't a spoiler because it already happened. Like, you getting run off the road was something scripted. So with one player, it happens on the night of the second day. Two players.
So are there events that just happen regardless of what the player? I mean, obviously the players are going to play the game.
Yeah.
But it's like, are the key things that move the story forward set things in time?
Some of them are, yes. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, that can be good and bad because it keeps the adventure moving.
Right.
But now I feel like I'm wasting a trip to Bullet Bob's. Not like, and maybe I'm not because I haven't been there. I don't know what's going to transpire there. Maybe Bullet Bob's is way more important than I did. I have built up in my head like, well, Bullet Bob's is just going to reveal that Leah bought the ammo. Maybe it's going to reveal much more than that. But in my head, it's like, well, I don't want to go to Bullet Bob's because it doesn't seem like it's that important. And it's like, well, what else could I do other than wait for this key inciting event? And maybe that's not the case, but that's what I was wondering. Like, is there just something that I have to kind of wait to take happen to me?
Right. So that's, yes, like you said, like I see it as a potential good and bad. Like, I think, and again, like, I hope we get to talk about all this stuff when we're like, as like an after action report.
We should just do a full session on it.
Yeah. Because I see good and bad things. One thing I like about stories as a whole is I like it when the heroes, they're part of the situation, but like when you're playing a game like Skyrim, like, oh my God, the world ending event's going to happen, but not until I do this quest and this chain. So I can go do 400 hours of side quests and there's actually no impetus. Like the story isn't happening on its own. It's waiting for you. And I like the idea that things are happening in the world. The world is a living place.
Right. Like Wells Corporation, being aware of what I'm doing, that feels satisfying as a player. Like they tried to take me out of the equation.
Yeah.
Which means they're monitoring, which means there's other things going on.
Right.
And Leah's movements feel alive in this world. She's not waiting in a cave. I mean, I guess she was literally waiting in a safe house, but right now she's not waiting like in a cave for me.
Right. I sort of have an idea of what she's doing.
Yeah.
And I like that. What she's like, right. So she shot Sandor. She hopped in a cab. She had ammo. She went to a safe. She did all these things and it wasn't waiting for you to do. Like she has her own life. And I really like that in a story, but I do, to what you were just saying, like, am I just waiting for that event to trigger? And so I feel like it creates a balance that you have to strike. Like, know, when, and it's what GMs often do, right? Like, they might have a room in mind where like, if the players go here, like the trap does this and that. And when they don't go in that direction, you just move the room to the direction they go. And so I feel like that's sort of what I think when I have adventures in mind. I often will say like, these are the events that are happening, like the actual story of what's going on. And there's how you interpret it. And so I can move around the story, even though it's a little bit locked in. I try and make it in pieces so that I can plug it in as you run into it in a logical way. But I do try and have like, if like the players never show up, what would happen? Like I try and come up with what that is.
Yeah.
And so I like that in a sense. This has that. Like if you were not here, I know
what these events are transpiring. Right.
Yeah. but it does make it tricky because you don't like we were just saying, you don't want to be in a moment where like, well, I mean, I guess this is just nothing happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Okay. Well, I thought that might be the case. Like here's why I went down this rabbit hole. It has nothing to do with what you were doing. We've brought this up. I'm a big fan of the Altered Carbon TV show, and I know you've read the book. And there is a scene where they don't go to a memory lab, but it is like a medical unit. And I feel like in that show they get in a shootout there.
Okay.
Like they get in a shootout inside like a medical facility. And in my head, I was like thinking, oh, shootout in the memory lab. And so then like I was bracing, I was like, and that's kind of why I went down the Sarah approach, whether that's real or not. Like that's at least Salmon's belief, because that's my belief. But I think that might be influenced by Altered Carbon. And so then when that didn't happen, I was like, well, shit, I don't know what to do now. But it's so funny because like the show that, you know, like I really like it, but I'm not going to pretend it's the best show ever made, is like now having this impact of like, well, I expected this, but it's like, I just now realized it was like, wait, that came from Altered Carbon and that has nothing to do with like this. So that's like where these thoughts originated from, is like, I was so tense in that memory lab, the memory lab scene. That's like, there's going to be a shootout here. There's going to be a shootout here. And then it didn't happen. It's like, I got nothing else, because that's what I was building up for.
Right.
Then, and like 10 minutes goes when it clicked. I was like, oh, fuck, that was Altered Carbon.
Right. And you know, for the people, you know, at home, I think, Matt, you mentioned this at the beginning, like you've heard this played before at one point.
Yeah, but the only thing I remember, honestly, the only thing I remember is maybe their first interview at the Walls Corporation. I feel like they did a street chase with the albino.
Yeah.
And maybe they went to Bullet Bob's, or they heard the name Bullet Bob's. Like, honestly, that's the only thing I remember. It wasn't like, oh, there was a shootout in the memory lab because those guys did it. It was really, there was a shootout in Altered Carbon that was making me anticipate one.
Right. That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, were you like in trying to forget? And then,
no, I'm very upfront with what I remember from that playthrough. Okay. And it seriously is like, of course, like I remember they had a police captain, and one was a replicant, one wasn't, all of those things. But like in terms of major plot beats, it was the things I've said, and I don't remember anything else, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to put out that's over at, you can go look it up at the Alcoholic Adventure Cabal. That's where the playthrough is. And it was,
just look at the Blade Runner. It's good. It's really good. It's
it's worth a listen. Anyway. I guess we'll pick this back up next time, I guess, hopefully.
Yeah.
And go from there. So with that, we want to thank everybody who watches. Obviously, we appreciate you checking this out. If you're here, you found our YouTube page, like and subscribe, click the bell for the notifications. If that's your thing, if you like it, we appreciate it. If you prefer audio versions of this, or like the discussion podcast we have, just search for Black Lodge Trivia Night wherever we get your audio. We should show up. We have a Discord. If you want to jump in and talk about RPGs, CRPGs, follow us on the socials if you do that. And otherwise, we'll be back. Hopefully, man, I don't know. There's a chance Patrick might be coming back soon, so we'll have to figure things out. But hopefully, we'll get back to this at some point and see where it goes.
We should have one more, assuming like the schedule holds. This was a makeup session from we should have one more.
Got it
for sure, unless like things happen, like real life gets in the way, as it tends to do.
Right.
But we should have at least one more, and then yes, Patrick should be back, and then we should have a good like podcasting episode with Patrick. It'll be nice to like we can decompress, we can talk about Blade Runner, talk about the different things we've been chewing on, where we want to go, and all of those things. We haven't done that in a while. We haven't podcasted in a while, which would be nice to just talk RPGs.
Yeah, and let Patrick get his sea legs back.
That's right.
Yeah, but otherwise, we again, like I said, we appreciate everybody who checks this stuff out. So thanks again. Take care. Have a good night.
Everyone have a good night. And hopefully you had, by the time you listen to this, a great Twin Peaks day.
The in-session music was provided by Tabletop RPG Music and composed by Ian Fisher. You can find the Patreon at www.patreon.com/tabletop RPG music. That's all one word.